Hey y'all. So, the moment you stop chasing your dreams is the exact moment your dreams start to chase you. Listen, I remember, like most of us, feeling like I had to literally chase my dreams, be in constant grind mode. I felt like movement equaled progress, but the whole time I was just running in circles. That's when I realized that I was doing it all wrong. Today, I want to break down why chasing your dreams are blocking your dreams. Let's get into it. Now, y'all know I got my handy dandy notebook here so we could break this down together. So, I broke this down into some very simple categories to help y'all understand how chasing your dreams is not really what you want to be doing. When you are chasing something, it signals to the universe that you don't already have it. And I might have mentioned this in the previous video that you can only have what you already have. You can only get what you can only receive what you already have. The universe is not going to give you what you're not already living or experiencing internally, okay? So, the first point that I wanted to touch on is the trap, okay? The trap that we are conditioned to believe that action equals progress, and that is not the case. So, in this third dimensional world, in this reality that we live in, because we typically take action to do something or to receive something, we think that's how we're going to manifest the life that we desire. But that's not how the universe works. The universe is waiting for you to match the frequency of what it is that you desire so that it can manipulate the third the 3D world, the third dimensional world, so that you can actually receive those things, right? And so once you embody the life that you desire, and when I say embody, I mean whatever it is you desire, whatever your desired reality would make you feel, you have to feel it right now. Okay? So chasing it is not going to help you because it's just telling the universe you don't already have it. You got to fake it till you make it, right? That is that I don't really like that saying because I don't like the idea of being fake, but if you embody it, if you move in peace and calm and clarity and grace, that will tell the universe, "Oh, she already tapped into what she wants. So let me give it to her," right? Here's another part of the trap. Society glorifies hustle. Everybody hustle, gotta go get it, side hustle. Everybody feel like they gotta be going to get it, right? But again, that signifies to the universe that you don't already have something because you're constantly grinding to get it. And 9 times out of 10, if you in hustle mode, you stressed out, you overworked, you overwhelmed. And that's a frequency in itself, being stressed out and overwhelmed. So the universe is going to pick that up more than your desire to have more. So back to that point, hustle creates a sense of fear, lack, something is missing. And you don't want to project that into the universe, right? So let's move into how doing mode is an energy. That energy is I have to constantly keep going in order to receive what I want. What you don't understand, what I know I didn't understand, is that true manifestation comes from not doing, but being. Okay? I didn't manifest the life I desire until I was like, no, I'm the CEO of my own business and this is how I move. I embody that CEO energy. I embody the woman who sends the emails, makes the calls, receives the calls, cuts the checks, all of those things. I became that person before it materialized in my 3D world. And literally, once I shifted who I was internally, my 3D world started to match up with me. It's literally instantaneous. And I don't mean the 3D world is instantaneous. It's once I manifest internally, the universe is already orchestrating for that reality to match up to me, right? I'm sorry I keep looking down, but I got my handy dandy notebook. We gotta make sure we hit these points, right? So the next thing after the trap that I wrote down is the energy chasing. The energy of chasing, excuse me. Like I said before, chasing means it's not mine, because anything that's yours is yours. You don't gotta go chase it. You don't have to go get it. You don't gotta get out your bed to go get it. It's already yours. It's right here. It's laying in the bed right next to you. So if you're chasing it, it's not yours. The universe is going to register it as not being yours, and it will continue to not be yours, right? It's common sense. Now, the universe is just going to respond to your energy, not your to-do list. So when you chasing, 9 times out of 10, you got a checklist, things you want to do, things you got to do, boo, 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 boo. And 9 times out of 10, your to-do list is too long. You're doing too much, right? The universe gonna respond to that energy, sis. The more you chase, the more separation you create. It's literally like that scene in Alice in Wonderland where she is running trying to get to the door to open the door, and the door is getting further and further and further away from her. That is exactly what you are doing when you are chasing your dreams. You can never get to the door because the hallway going to just keep getting longer and longer and longer, because the universe is saying this door not meant for you. Why are you chasing something that you already have or that you should already have, right? So you want to cut out the whole idea of chasing. You got to reframe your mindset. Now let's dive into the power of alignment. Okay, being aligned with your dreams, not chasing them. Alignment is about faith. That means you trust, you believe, you know that it's already yours. That means you are aligned with that version of reality. You are aligned with that manifestation. You are aligned with what you desire. It's no longer a desire because you don't need to desire what you already have. You know what I'm saying? So alignment creates inspired action. So let me break that down, because that might not be as plain as it seems, right? Alignment creates inspired action. So once you embody the life that you desire, you start to move in purpose. We underestimate the power of our intuition. Okay. Our intuition is not just something that is a made up word about how women feel. Okay. That gut feeling is the universe telling you something is not right. You need to make this decision, or yes, this is good. You need to go in that direction. That is what your intuition is there for. Not just to tell you when he ain't no good, but when you should move in aligned action with what you desire, with your purpose. Okay. So that's the point of alignment creates inspired action. So when you're aligned, like I said, the universe is going to give you nudges like, yeah, you should go do that. Yeah, you should do that. Or no, don't do that. Okay. It's going to be that intuition telling you where you should go. And when you start to create aligned action, when you take aligned action, the universe is going to continue to orchestrate things on your behalf and send all of those blessings and manifestations your way, because you've already manifested by being internally what you need. Now the universe is going to materialize that manifestation. And I don't want you to think that doing less means doing nothing. Okay. You just need to stop thinking that your actions are going to create the life that you desire. You need to only take action when you feel inspired to take action, when you are moving in alignment and in purpose, right? Let's go with signs of force over flow. I love my notebook. So, if you feeling exhausted or anxious, even though you constantly hustling, you constantly moving, you constantly grooving, baby, that's force, not flow. Here's what happened to me before I manifested the life I desire. Crazy work, y'all. I was working and was making more money than I've ever made in my life. My checks would hit every 2 weeks, and I'm like, hey, shoot, girl, you moving up in the world, right? I will go file my taxes every January, February, and my tax preparation lady, love her because it's the same woman every year. And she'll be like, girl, look at you moving up. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I see you. But literally, I did not feel it. Okay. I would see my checks and be like, damn, this is a pretty ass check. Let me stop cussing. This is a beautiful check. Okay. But it felt like the bills, the responsibility, the debt, everything was just piling on. It was like the more money I made, more problems. Listen, what's that song? Who is it? Mace and Diddy? Oh, I can't reference Diddy. Never mind. But y'all know what song I'm talking about. More money, more problems is literally what it was because I was not moving in alignment. I might have had a really good career, but I still was stuck in scarcity, fear, overwhelmed, anxiety, feeling like I gotta go, 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 go in order to get what I had. So no matter how much I made, I constantly felt like it was not enough. But that was all internal, right? So that was a sign that I was moving in force, not flow. Okay. So another thing, you gonna feel very disconnected. Sometimes you are successful on paper. I was successful on paper, right? I had a beautiful career. I didn't just have a regular old job I'm going to every day. I had went into a beautiful career of mental health counseling. I was a therapist. I was moving up. I was making more, but like I still had things I was complaining about. I was complaining about my coworkers. I was complaining about management. I was complaining about the mindset of some of my clients because I was complaining about the mindset of some of my clients because I was the only therapist at my job who actually cared about these kids, right? So it was hard to stay connected because as much as I loved my clients, the environment was not conducive to where I wanted to be. And like I said, everything internally was causing me to still have blockages, to feel like I'm making all this money but I don't really get to see it. It's like, again, more money, more problems. So that's a sign that you're forcing overflowing. You feeling real disconnected. I felt very disconnected. And so another key sign in force overflow is that you trying so hard to control time and the outcome of everything. That's the biggest issue that I had, is that I felt like I could control the outcome of everything. I was a chronic I was a chronic, gotta write this down, got 15 different calendars where I'm writing down what I gotta do on the first, what I gotta do on the fifth, what I gotta do on the 15th. I was very much time constraint. Okay, gotta do this by this time, gotta get this done, gotta submit this, I was trying to control. I was a complete and absolute control freak. Whole time, that's not even how you should be operating. That that force, that necessary control, that feeling that you absolutely have to be in control of everything is another signal to the universe that you are lacking something, right? So that's going to mess you up every single time. Um doing manifestation techniques but nothing happens. Oh, this is a big one. So, in the very beginning, when I first started my spiritual journey, I was doing all the techniques, the meditation, the affirmations. I had created a definite chief aim of where I wanted to be in 6 months to a year and all of those things. I was doing the work, I was doing the rituals, I was releasing the things that no longer served me, but I still was stuck in some very toxic emotional behavior. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this in any of my audios, but or my videos, but I keep an audio journal where I'll record my journal rather than write it down. And there's been times where I've listened to my audio journals from the past when I was right in the very beginning of my spiritual journey. And when I say it was an emotional roller coaster, significant highs and lows. Okay. I'm doing the work. I was working out. I was meditating. I was listening to inspirational speeches, all the things to uplift myself. But emotionally, emotionally and mentally, I was losing the battle. So it didn't matter what I was doing physically. I need to tap in to where I am mentally and emotionally. And until you tap into where you are mentally and emotionally and transform your mindset, it don't matter what you're doing physically, okay? So, let's tap into doing less. Why does it make sense to do less, not more? First of all, you need to slow down because that will allow you to listen to the intuition. That will allow you to get those nudges from the universe that will tell you where you should move and where you should go. Okay. And it will help you take that inspired action. My greatest ideas came from me sitting down, meditating, doing absolutely nothing. Once I tapped in, once I was able to calm my nervous system, once I no longer was worried, once I no longer was stressed or overwhelmed or overworked or constantly overthinking, when I would just be sitting on my meditation pillow, that's when I'm like, oh, I got an idea. And I grab my handy dandy notebook and jot that bad boy down and implement it immediately into my business and see the benefits of that idea. Okay. So, something else, you got to be still and be grateful.